What's up, guys? We are back with my second battle from Smogon World Cup. This is still round 1. This time I'm playing Frizy from Team Oceania. If you guys didn't know, my team is trying to qualify for round 2 of World Cup. I'm representing Team US East, me and of course a few other members that are playing. So we each have 3 opponents per round, and this is my second battle versus Frizy. So let's get right into it. I'm leading off my landers, he's going to lead off his Azumarill. Now, looking at team preview, the first thing I noticed was that Azumarill is a huge threat to my team. So my main priority is weakening Azumarill or just getting off enough damage on it. That way I can not lose to it. That's basically my main priority, because it's looking like my DD Megazard can actually sweep his team, because I can set up on his Charizard and I can set up on his Latios. So I lead off with my landers, he leads off with his Azumarill. I'm Choice Scarf, I get off the Intimidate, gonna go right for the U-turn, and gonna pull a switch or into my Goodra right here, because he is -1 and I'm figuring the Waterfall is coming. So gonna pull a double, because I'm using Goodra as a pivot switch, into my Heatran. That way I can eat up a Play Rough, as he actually pulls a direct switch into his Latios. Now, the reason he did that was because he knows that Azumarill is a big threat to my team. He doesn't want to get weakening by a Sludge Wave or a Thunderbolt from my Goodra, because if it is, it can get knocked out by my Latios' Psyshock. And based on the damage from his Waterfall at -1, that Azumarill is not Choice Banded, it's actually an Assault Vest or a Belly Drum type of set. I find out later on what it is. So he ended up pulling the switch into his Latios, which is completely fine. Even if he packs Earthquake, I will be able to live it, because I do have some defense EVs. So I'm going to go for my Stealth Rocks right here as he pulls the switch into his Terrakion. I'm going to have to switch out, so I'm going to go out to my Lander's Therian form, as he does predict that very nicely. Goes right for the Stone Edge, and he gets a crit. So that really sucks for me. It's part of the game though, so I'm not going to complain. And it's a tourney. I can't do anything about that. This is likely to happen. Hacks is part of the game. Actually, in our test matches, people would crit me and they say, hey, let's start over. But I'm like, no, this could happen in actual tournament play. Let's see how I play. So I'm forced to basically play a bit differently, because now I'm in the back since my Landorus is gone turn 4. So I'm going to go right out into my Latios, as I'm just going to go right for the safe Psyshock. The reason I went for Psyshock is because I want to bait in his Bisharp, as opposed to going for the HP fighting right off the bat. I did not want to risk anything. Psyshock is my safest play. It would also hit Azumarill if you choose to go into that, but he doesn't end up bringing out his Bisharp. Now, because I basically lost my Landorus turn 4, I have to start making aggressive plays. So predicting him to want to go for the Pursuit right here, I'm actually going to stay in and go for the HP fighting, as I'm able to knock out Bisharp, and that is a huge threat gone. That means my Latios lives to see another day, and I can threaten his team. But he brings out his Azumarill right here. I'm going to switch out into my Heatran on the expected Play Rough, as he doesn't end up going right for that. I know that Waterfall won't be able to knock me out, and I'm just going to go for Toxic, because if I can weaken this Azumarill, I can knock it out with my Latios, or even an unboosted Stone Edge from my Mega T-Tar. So unfortunately I missed my Toxic, as he ends up bringing out his Terrakion. Would have been nice, because I do have Protect, and I could have Protect Life Orb stalled him a bit, but I'm going to sack my Heatran because it basically has no more use. I don't need it for Latios, because T-Tar sets up on Latios. So now I can go out into my own Latios, and I'm just going to go right for the Dragon Pulse. The reason I went for Dragon Pulse is because at -1 Terrakion would die. And I was expecting him to either bring in his Latios or sack his Charizard right here, since the Psyshock was more than likely coming. He would not risk going out to Azumarill, because it would be 2-hit KO'd by Psyshock. So I went for Dragon Pulse, as it was my safest play. Really wasn't expecting Azumarill right there, as he was weak to Psyshock, as he ends up sacking his Charizard, which is a good play, because it means, well, one, it means that he can't, he won't be able to use it, but it's not really going to be doing much, because I'm thinking that was Zard Y, and 2, it was set up fodder for my T-Tar anyway. So sacking that Mon leaves less room for chokes, if that makes sense. So he ends up going out to his Azumarill. I'm going to be forced to sack my Goodra, because it's not really going to be doing much. And now I'm going to go out to my Keldeo. The reason I go for sub right here is because if he lets his Azumarill take a bit more damage, I can knock it out with Psyshock. So I was thinking that he might want to switch out into his Latios, because it would be a free defog. His Azumarill could come back in, as well as Latios is a great switching for Keldeo. Azumarill could come back in, not take Stealth Rock damage, and always live Psyshock from my Latios. So that's why I went for sub right here, as he is going to go right for the Play Rough, breaking my sub. I'm just going to go for sub again, hoping for a miss, or even baiting him to want to go for Waterfall, because Waterfall will be able to break my sub, as Waterfall does break my sub, which is great. I'm thinking he's going to want to stay in, so I'm going to go right for the Scald right here, getting off that crucial damage. That way I'll be able to knock him out with Psyshock. That was the point. So right here my Psychic Berry does activate. If you guys didn't know, I was sub Salic Endeavor Keldeo. pretty cool set. Unfortunately, this Keldeo as well as my Gujar didn't really do too much in this battle, but Keldeo did what it needed to do, got off the damage on Azumarill. Now, the reason I'm actually going to switch it out right here into my Latios is because if this is Scarf Landorus, after Azumarill goes down, he's more than likely going to want to go out into this, and I can sack Keldeo to the U-turn, which forces him into his Latios, which my DD Megazard can set up on. I was thinking a few turns ahead, and that was basically my win condition right there. So I'm going to switch out into my Latios right here, expecting him to want to go for the safe waterfall as it would be able to knock me out and Play Rough can miss. And now I can just go right for the Psyshock as he sacks his Azumarill. So he actually surprises me by going into his Latios instead of his Landorus, which leads me to believe that it is not a Choice Scarf Landorus. Either way, Latios would have ended up coming out after I sacked my Keldeo to the U-turn, because basically, like I said, U-turn from Landorus would not have been able to knock him out. It would have forced him out into his Latios, unless he wanted to force a speed tie with Terrakion. But I think Latios was a safer play. So I'm going to sack my Keldeo right here, because that will give me the free switch into my my Tyranitar and basically just start to set up. So I'm going to go out to my T-Tar as he's able to knock me out with the Psyshock, and going to Mega Evolve and go right for the Dragon Dance. So he ends up bringing out his Landorus. The only way he can knock out my Mega T-Tar if he is Choice Scarf with Superpower. So I'm going to Mega Evolve right here and Dragon Dance up. I do notice because of my Stealth Rocks that he is a Leftovers variant, which means that he can't knock me out at this range of HP, and I am free to go for the second Dragon Dance as he's going to switch out into his Terrakion, expecting the Ice Punch, just trying to switch back into his Landorus, and basically he's trying to get off enough Intimidates that way he can potentially take care of this threat, since it is going to take 2 hits for him to knock it out. So I'm going to go right for the safe Earthquake as he pulls the switch back out to his Landorus. I had no reason to predict at this point because my Tyranitar was at full HP, and Mega T-Tar is hella bulky. Going to go right for the Ice Punch. I am at neutral due to Intimidate, and that does a hell of a lot. Actually brings him to the point where he can't switch out due to Stealth Rock being able to knock him out, which means I can go for the Ice Punch again, knock him out, and Terrakion at that range of HP is not going to be able to take an unboosted Mega Tyranitar's Earthquake. So I'm able to knock that out, and his last is his Latios, which will go down to the Ice Punch. So that was a really good game, Frizy. Azumarill was going to give me a lot of problems, but played around it, which is cool. And yeah, guys, so I hope you all enjoyed. You know, leave a like if you did. Supports my channel, helps me out. Leave any comments about World Cup. I'll try and answer them when I'm not busy. Because, you know, guys, I am really busy, if you guys didn't know. But yeah, that was a good game. I really enjoy World Cup just because of the, you know, the high quality matches that we have. So, yeah, stay tuned for my third battle of round 1. I don't know when I'll be playing that. I think maybe Tuesday in the morning. Not entirely sure. But yeah, now I'm just talking just to talk. So, yeah, until next time, guys. Later.